Okay. Uh, See, what we will do is in today's session, whatever problem which we saw yesterday, the coin change 2, the approach with which we wrote the code was top down. I mean, recursion with memoization. And to be specific here, we relied on memoization by using Python runtime's built-in ability to cache the function calls. So that was the quick recap of what we saw yesterday. So today, what we will do is, so instead of the code which we wrote is yesterday, what we will do is today we'll write a non-recursive code, and to write a non-recursive code, it is important that we understand what exactly we mean by bottom-up approach, and how do we generally design the table and how we store the values in the table is important. So, so quickly we will discuss what and how the logic would be. Roughly, we will discuss, and once we discuss the logic, we will try to convert that into a program which would be non-recursive. I mean, it would be pure and iterative one, which doesn't use any recursion. And then we will compare the execution types of yesterday's program versus today's program, and what further, I mean, what further optimizations can be done in that code. All that we will discuss once we implement that code. Okay. So before I begin, any quick questions you have regarding yesterday's program, or yesterday you might have tried any change in this? Yeah. Okay. So let me move to tabular organization, and let us see how we compute the solution by using tabular approach. Remember, whenever we go for tabular approach, what we do is we create a table. So in any bottom-up dynamic programming approach, what we do is we create a table, and this table holds values based on which I keep on computing the solution for larger problem. So every block here represent a solution of one small sub problem. So what are those sub problems and how the solution is built based on the solutions of the sub problems? That's what is bottom up approach, and we will look into that approach shortly. So here, if you look here, we are discussing the first test case in this here. So we will try to solve it first manually. So what I'm trying to say is, we are considering this use case, and we will fill the table value so as to get value 4. So once we see how the values in the table are filled to obtain this solution 4, then writing code would be fairly simple. Just we have to convert our logic of filling the values in the table. So, but what does this table indicate? Let us look into that. So considering this table, remember, if you look the column header, so this is the column header of the table. The column header of this table contains values from 0 to amount. So what you have here, 0 to amount. So amount is 5. It means for amount 0, amount 1, amount 2, amount 3, 4, and 5. So as if I have a 3 coins, for each coin I have one row. So it is for coin 1, this is for coin 2, and this is for coin 3. Okay. So now you might ask me, like, why this additional 0 and 0 here? See, this 0 and 0, it depend upon your logic. Like if you can structure your logic by using 0 index or 1 index, it's up to you. But generally in a dynamic programming, what we do is we start with 0 here and we start with 0 here. Whether to use this column or row, it depends upon what actual logic you will write. But we always include from 0 to n coins and 0 to amount. That's your column header. So this is your row header. So each row represents coins. Now let us understand the meaning of this block. So for example, if I consider this block, let me highlight this. So what does this table actually include? For example, if I consider this highlighted cell, what it includes is, what is the amount here? 2. And what is the value here? The coin value is 1. It means that in how many ways I can realize a amount of value 2 by using coins from 0 to 1. I mean, if we discard this row, for example, for time being, if we discard that, we do not have any dummy row here. What is this indicating? The number of ways I can realize total value of 2 using the coins I have till 1. Okay, are you getting this? So if I consider index as 1, index 2 and index 3, it denotes that 1, 2, 3. Remember, this 1, 2, 3 is nothing but it's the index at which the coins I have. Let me write this index here. So what exactly I am writing here is, this is at index 1, this is at index 2, and this is at index 3. So let me write this index here so you can relate it better. Okay, so just so I'll highlight this in a different color. Okay, so this, what are this red color? These are index. So considering the values I have till index 1, so what coin I have? Coin 1. So by using coin 1, in how many ways I can realize this value of 2? So that value I'll have here. So now, instead of this cell, now if I consider, for example, let's talk about this cell. What does that cell exactly mean? For example, if I consider the red cell location, so what this red cell is indicating? This red cell is indicating the number of ways I can realize an amount of value 4 by using all the coins till index 2. It means that till index 2 means coin at index 1, coin at index 2. So coin at index 1, coin at index 2 means by using 1 rupee and 2 rupee coin, in how many ways I can realize the amount of 4. So if I now take this value here, so if I now make this highlighting to a bottom cell, what this is indicating? Number of ways I can realize an amount of value 4 by using all the coins till index 3. I mean, so by using coin at index 1, index 2 and index 3. So by using coin of denomination value 1, coin of denomination value 2 and coin of denomination 5, in how many ways I can realize an amount of value 4? That value will be appearing here. So whatever may be, it may be X, or here it may be something called as Y, right? Are you getting this table? So that's how the values in this cell represent. So what exactly, once we know what values these are representing, now I can design and structure my logic. Okay, so let me first see your response, whether have you understood this table values and what each internal cell represents. Is it clear to you? Just respond me in the chat window, yes or no. Okay, yes, so now you know what each internal cell represents. Now let us see, now let us start building the solutions one by one. So now here you will realize how from basic minimum sub problem to higher sub problem, how do we achieve the value solution for this. So now see, you might ask me why we taken this index 0. This we have taken index 0 because for implementation, when we are implementing, so I need not worry about that I minus 1, I minus that index. I hope you are getting that. When arrays has a length 5, the last element is always at length minus 1. In order to overcome this, we have taken this additional one. It is up to you if you want to take this row or not take this row, but just for the sake of implementation, we have taken this. You will understand the importance of this row when we actually start converting the code, this logic into code. But for example, let us consider. So for example, if I consider 0 and 1, 2 and 3, so it means that do we have any coin at index 0 as per this one? No, we do not have any coin at index 0. So amount of 0, can I realize amount of 1 by using nothing? Nothing. So the value will be 0 here. 0. In how many ways I can realize an amount of value 3 by using no coins available to me? 0. So if I have 0 coins, see index 0. Do I have index 0 here? No. My coins index are at index 1, 2 and 3. It is one index. It's not 0 index. So when I'm saying all the coins till index 0, it means nothing. I have 0 coins. So with 0 coins, can I realize amount 1? No. Answer is 0. Can I realize amount 2? No. For this, so all these values will be 0, 0 and 0. Okay. So now coming back to, see, we will not deal about this column. We'll come to this column at the end. What's the purpose of that column and why we require that column? Okay. So now coming back to the index 1. Okay, so now what I'm saying, using all the coins available till index 1. So using all the coins available till index 1 means how many coins I am now considering? I'm just considering coin 1. So let me highlight this for time being. Let me highlight this into red color. So coin under consideration is 1. In how many ways I can realize amount 1 by using this? In how many ways I can realize this? Coin 1, amount 1. How many ways I can realize this? 1. So by using coins available till 1, till index 1, in how many ways I can realize the what do I mean? How do I realize the denomination of 2? 1. Let me see what happened. I don't know. Just a minute. So this is center and middle. In how many ways I can realize it? 1. In how many ways I can realize 3 by using all the coins available till index 1? In one way, which is like 1 plus 1 plus 1. So 4, 1 plus 1 plus 1. 5 times 1 plus 1, 1, 1. Right? You're getting that. Now the complex part now appears here. So now we are working for this cell. Let me highlight this. Or okay. So when I want to take for this value here, let me, okay. So I am trying to get value for this cell location. What does this cell location represent? This cell location represents, what does it represent? It represents in how many ways I can realize this amount by using all the coins available till index 2. Till index 2 means 1 and 2 both come into picture here. 1 and 2. So considering this, see, how do you now here is where a step where we build solution based on earlier solved subproblem. So now for a time being, let me create a small example here. So what I am trying to say here is I have amount of, let's say 2, amount of 2, and I have coin as 1. In how many ways I can realize this? The number of ways is 1, right? So now what I'm doing is, now instead of one coin, I have added another coin 2 to this. When I add another coin 2 to this, will it be plus this value or something else? So is this value still useful to me? If I add another coin to this, initially my sub problem was only this. My problem was only this much, amount 2 and coin 1. So in how many ways I can realize this? By one way. Now what I have done, I have added another coin to it, coin 2. So when I add another coin to it, my solution to this newer problem, what is my newer problem? Earlier problem was amount 2 and coin 1. Now my new problem is amount 2, coin 1 and coin 2, right? So now technically what I want to do is, can I build solution to this newer problem, which is amount 2 and 2 coins, based on solution which I already have for earlier problem, right? So do you agree that for this newer problem, it is nothing but number of ways I can realize amount 2 by using coin 1 plus whatever new which you get here, new ways. Do you realize this? Do you agree to this one? Yeah, do you agree to this? Yes. So here we see a pattern that I can build solution based on the previous problem which I've solved. So now what we do here, now you can realize here. So to calculate a value for this, so now let us look at this. So here we can say that the coin under consideration, the coin at index 2 is 2. The denomination of this coin is 2 and amount is 1. So can I realize the amount? For example, I am saying that, can I realize an amount of value 10 by using 100 rupees note? Answer is obviously 0. So as long as the currency value is greater than the amount being considered, it will be always 0. So in this case, what would be your solution? It would be nothing but your previous solution. So what I'm talking about, consider my amount was 1. Consider my amount was 1 here. So earlier problem is amount 1, coin 1. How many ways I can realize this? By 1, right? So to this earlier problem, I added 2 as a new coin. The 2 new coin, the value of this currency denomination is greater than the amount being realized. So can I realize that? It's 0. So what is the new number of ways? The new number of ways I can realize this is 0. So what is the solution to this problem? The solution to this problem is 1. So this 1 is taken here as it is. So this 1 here, from where did it come? It has come from your earlier sub problem. From here it has come. Likewise, if you look at this problem, so this cell 1 to 1, it is nothing but earlier 0 plus 1. All these are 0 plus 1, 0 plus 1, 0 plus 1, because earlier it is 0. Earlier it is 0. Now the new number of ways is 1, 1, 1. That's why it is 1, 1, 1, right? Okay. So now this cell. Now this cell is a little bit tricky here. Let us see how you will solve this. So now when I consider this cell, okay, what I said, so it is always what it is. It is always. So now if you look at here, let me write what is it is. So you can say that the solution would be earlier ways plus new ways. Okay. So what is earlier way? So by using, so what this cell denotes? The number of ways I can realize the amount 2 by using coins available till index 2, like I mean coins 1 and 2. This would be the earlier sub problem, the number of ways I can realize the denomination 2 by using earlier coins 1 plus 1 plus. Now I need to see
if I can use the new coin available in this to realize this amount, can I use this to realize this amount too? Yes. If I use coin at index 2, which is of denomination value 2, to realize amount of value 2 here, what would be the new amount available? What would be the new amount available? 0. So amount of currency value 2, amount is 2. So what is that value here? It would be 0. So it means that 0 means you're actually referring to this column. So whenever the amount becomes 0, whenever the amount becomes 0 and I have a coin under consideration, what it is indicating? It is indicating that I can realize this value by using the direct replacement of that coin. So now, as I said, these values, as I said, these do not have, we didn't fill this any values, but this value has to be always 1. What it is indicating? This column here is indicating that can I realize a value equivalent to this currency amount by using the same currency? I mean, can I realize amount of 5 by using 5 note? Yes, 1. Can I realize amount of rupees 10 by using 10 rupees note? Yes, it is 1, right? So what you're doing is 1 plus you are checking. After 1, what you have to check is whether the currency at index 2, is it equal to this? Yes. If it is equal, or if it is greater, or if it is lesser one, remember it has to be either less or equal. It means that this currency can be used to reduce some value from this amount. This currency can be used. If in this case, if currency is used if in this case, if currency is used, you have to subtract the currency value from the amount. So if you subtract this, then whatever the value you get, you have to look into that table cell, like 2 0, and by default it is 1. So here it would be 1 plus 1, so is equal to, it would be 2. Are you getting this? So now if I solve it for this location, so let me show you for this location. So what I said, it is 1 plus the previous solution 1 plus what I look for is the current one, the current coin at index 2 location 2. Is 2 less than the amount? Yes. If 2 less than the amount, it means that from amount 3 minus 2, if from amount of value 3, if I subtract currency value 2, what is remaining? 1. In how many ways I can realize 1 by using coins till 1 to 2? It is this value. So what I'm getting here? What I'm getting is, after subtracting this, what is remaining here? 3 minus 2, I mean 1. So 1 amount is remaining. But I already computed in how many ways that this 1 can be realized by using currency still index 2. It is 1. So this one will be equal to 2. Right. So here in this case, this one was by result of this 0th value. If the after subtraction amount becomes exactly 0, it means that I was able to exactly replace that coin. So here when you come to this location, I hope it will be slightly clear to you. As we move from table location to table location, it would be more clear to you. Now let us also calculate for this table location. What it is? So earlier one, number of ways I can realize by earlier one, plus from this amount, subtract this currency value at index 2. 4 minus 2. What is remaining? 4 minus 2? 4 minus 2 means amount 2 is remaining. So now I need to see in how many ways amount 2 can be realized. In how many ways amount 2 can be realized here? 2, right? So this 2 will now come here. Let me scribble and tell you. So this 2 will now come here. So what is this? So here you will have 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. This is how you get this here. Likewise, here, what will be solution? So earlier one, let me make it and show you how exactly it works at this location. I think it should be clear by now what you saw. So earlier one plus subtract the currency value at index 2. What is currency value at index 2? 2. 5 minus 2, 3. So 3 means in how many ways I can realize 3? By 2, right? So you are looking at that combination, like in how many ways you are realizing that remaining amount. In how many ways you can realize 3? By 2 ways. Plus 2 is equal to 3. So from where did I get this value here? This 2 has come from here. So from amount 5 minus 2 means 3. You get this value. So you will say from where I got this. This was built by previous solution, right? This was built by previous solution. Look at this. Now you might ask me how this one has come. So you can see here that this one has come from here. So this has come from here. So that's how the solution keeps on building on previous solutions. Okay, so let us fill the last column. Then once we fill the last column, we get the solution for this. So once again, what will be the solution? By using all the coins from first index till the index 3. I mean from using, now we are considering all 3 coins. So all 3 coins, make all 3 red. Okay, in how many ways I can do this? This is one. This, see, as long as, okay, now let us see here. So this one has come here. Now here, what you will do? Earlier number of ways. What is this earlier number of ways? 2 plus from amount, the value, the currency value is 5, amount is 2. Can I realize that what it is 0? I hope you're getting this. Amount 2, currency value is high. Can I realize that currency? No. So now it would be always 2 plus 0. Here 3 and 3, it would be still the earlier value is 2 plus what value I have here. So from 5, from amount 3, subtract 5, the coin at index 3. So what it is? Higher currency, lower amount. Can I realize that? No. Answer is 0. Here it is earlier value 3, is earlier value 3 plus from amount 4, minus 5, amount is lesser, currency is higher. Can I realize that? No, the value is 0. So is equal to what it is equal to 3. Now coming to this point, earlier value 3 plus 5 minus 5, 0. 5 minus 5, difference 0. Difference 0 means you have to look at this 0th column. What I have said, it is 1. So this one is now used here. So this column is indicating that, can I directly indicate, can this currency be directly replaced by an amount equivalent to that currency? The difference is that. So difference 0 means for that value we are using this one, or else then this doesn't have much. It's a smallest of smallest sub problem. Like, can I realize the currency? Though here I have 0, it is just for sake of index, but it doesn't make any sense. So this is what is exactly this. So 3 plus 1 is equal to 4. So is this the output of this test case? Okay, so it should be 4. That's how we obtain this value 4 here. Have you understood this? Okay, so did you get this? Did you get this logic of table? How I am been doing this plus operation and how we are building the solution from the earlier sub problem. Okay, see, if you, I'm not sure if you have gone through knapsack or not, but even in knapsack the same logic of table is also applied for knapsack. So on knapsack, that's what I was saying. This is a one pattern of dynamic programming problem. We call it as decision making dynamic programming problem. So here, any decision making kind of problem, if this fits into this pattern, then same logic is same. We apply the same logic and we get an answer. So at the end of this, where would you find the solution? The solution will be the top, I mean the bottom right corner of that. Now you might ask me, sir, why we always start with zeros here? Why not we have 0 from here and here and there and that? Because we start with zeros here and here, so that for implementing by code, this would be easier, because I can run a for loop for this row 0 to n, and here I can run a column for loop. That's why it is always from 0 to here. So some theoretical textbook might start from here and they might get solution at this cell location. But this is a practical way of designing the table, right? Okay, so shall we convert this into code? So now if we want to convert this into code, what we need to do? The first thing is to define a data structure for this table, store these values, and store these default values, this 1 1 1 and 0, all these zeros. By default, if you are using Python, I think integer default value is 0. So from where do you start computing the values? From this cell. From this cell, and you keep on filling these values. Then you keep on filling this cell values. And this value will depend upon the upper row. And this cell value will depend upon this upper row, and this for the rows. So this is a fairly simple for loop based on this table. Okay, so shall we write the code for this? I hope you remember this table. Just remember this, or else I'll just keep it for a few seconds. Just somewhere you take this table, somewhere you just take just a quick snap of this. So while writing code, you can recall and you can understand what exactly I'm writing and why I'm doing what I'm doing that. Okay. Fine. So now let us move to code window and let us write the solution. So what's the first thing we have to do here? What's the first thing I need to do? Now I need to create a table. So how do we create a, what do I say? How do we, okay. Now when you're creating a table here for this, can you guess what should be the length of table? See, this is coin and this is amount. Tell me for example, consider this as a matrix. What would be the dimension of our table? Can you reply? What would the dimension of the length of coin plus 1 and amount of coin plus 1? Yes. Yeah. So that would be the length of my table. So let us define. So what we need to do is we need to define the table. How do we define that in Python? How do we define matrix like matrix like structures in Python? List of lists. How do we define the list of list? Any idea? So I think list comprehension fine. I won't answer from division B. I think for division B, when I was teaching knapsack, we had that table, but we had some issue while creating the table as well. When I was using multiplication, whether see in Python, you have to be very careful when you're creating a tabular structure by list comprehension, because if you there is always an issue of what do I say? There is always an issue of deep copy and shallow copy. Yes. So yeah, I think Ranjit has given that. So why do I want this is because you can discuss this solution. You can discuss this later on with just a minute. So you can discuss that. So I'm just taking this solution from. So what I'm doing here, see, I'm getting coins. Amount is this, and coins would be, I think it should, I take it's the length of coins. So this is, I think, okay. So for 0, for I in range, amount plus 1, fine. I think this will work. And so this structure, this will be repeated for each JN coin. So these many number of times I get this represented. See, you might use that, for example, you might use 0 multiplied by 9. This creates a big 0, but as long as the value is single, that is fine. But if the element within this is a list, then this does a shallow copy, and your table will not function as expected. So make sure that you take care of this. So what we are defined a, let us call it as DP table, or let us keep it as DP itself. Why to increase the space? So we are first defining the table. After defining the table, what are the values which we are initializing? What is the first value we are initializing? First value we'll initialize is 0, 0. We'll keep it as 1. So what I am trying to share is I have set this value, and next subsequent things, everything I'll set it as we'll take that in loop. So this will be 1, and this will be by default 0. I hope you know that in Python the default value of list, if it's an integer, it's always 0. So coming back, now what I can do, now I can actually write a loop. So for, see, how do I move here? How do I move the loop? So I need to start from this point, complete and calculate these values, then move to next row, complete and calculate these values based on the previous row, complete and calculate this row based on previous row. So my for loop will iterate for this, and another for loop internal will iterate across the amount values from 0 to amount value. So I need 2 nested for loops. Accordingly, we'll write it. So for, now tell me, what are the outer loops? What will be the outer loop? Outer loop is for coins at index, right? Now tell me, we are starting from 0, 1, 2, and 3. But when we are referring this, we will refer by 1. But when we're actually referring that, we will do 1 minus this 1 minus 1, 2 minus 1, 3 minus 1, so that in a, see, this is our index, but in Python, what is index? It is 0th index, 1 index, and 3 index. This is in Python, right? So in Python, when we are accessing that, we will do I minus. If I use I to iterate this outer loop, I'll put I is equal to 1 till the length of coins plus 1. I mean, even the length I'll consider in the for loop, less than or equal to. And whenever I want to access the value of the from this one, I'll do I minus 1, so that I can access this by based on Python based indexing. Okay, so for, I hope you're getting that, for I in range, what should your range begin from? From 1 to length of coins. So if I say length of coins, it is exclusive index. So I'll do length of coins plus 1, right? So once you do plus, then what is the internal thing you will do? First initialize dp of I and 0 is equal to 1. What you are setting? I have set this value. Set this value 1. You know this will be 1. Then now write a for loop to calculate all these ones. Okay. So set this value. Now tell me, what should I write internal loop for j in range? Tell me, what should I do here? For j in range, how you move to j? How does index of j move? This you already set the value. So now you have to technically calculate from this to this. So j is equal to 1 to amount. Right? J in range from 1 to amount plus 1. Why amount plus 1? Because last index is exclusive ones. So you need to do that. Right? Okay. Once you are within that, what you need to calculate? You need to calculate value for dp of I and j. So how do you calculate dp of I and j? Is equal to, so at any point of time, at any point of cell value, how do you calculate? The previous value. So let me highlight and show you the previous value and the one which you get by after subtracting this. So after subtracting the amount with the currency value, whatever value you get here, so in this case I get 0 here, so this green value, let me make it with some different color, blue and blue. So this is how you're getting that, right? So minus this previous value, minus, and see where that minus value falls in this row. This earlier value, you keep on getting that. Just a minute, I think something is tab. Okay. Yeah, I hope you see this. So dp of ij is equal to dp of I. What you write? I minus 1 previous row, jth column value plus what you will do? You have to take the difference, right? So in Python, you can always check a condition directly here. So what you will do is you will check if what I said, if the amount means j, right? The amount means they. If amount minus the coin currency value, so coin currency value means I think this is coins. This is coins. From coins of, now see, now it is minus 1. Why I'm doing coins minus 1? because of that indexing logic which you have kept. If this value amount minus currency, if this value is, what should I check here? Can anyone tell me what should I check here? Less than or equal to or greater than equal to? Let me know what should I check here? Less than or equal to or greater than equal to? Less than or equal to, do you think less than or equal to? I think what is the condition I was checking there? In table here, look at this table. What I'm checking here is if this currency value should be less than the amount. So amount should never be less than the currency value. That's what the condition I was checking, right? So going on that logic, so amount minus currency, if it is less, I think the difference should be either greater or equal to 0. Do you agree with this condition? Do you agree with this condition? Greater than or equal to? Yes. Okay. If this condition is greater, if this condition is greater, then what value I add here? dp of the same, the dp of the difference, whatever the difference which I get, whatever the difference I get at that column, whatever the cell value is there, if it is else 0, right? I think am I right in using this syntax in Python? In Python we have see, for a ternary operator in another language in Python, I can write if greater than this and this. Am I right in using the syntax in Python? I think once this for is done, I think we are done. I think once this for is done, come out of this loop. So loop, I think here I need to just return what I need to return, the last cell value. So once that loop is done, I think I need to just return this. This will just complete everything. This loop will complete everything. We'll compare and see if we get any syntax errors. But as of now, by considering logic that calculates all these values, and in the end I need to print this value. What is this value? So it would be a dp of last, right? dp of the last value. So what would be this value here? I think coins plus 1, and what did I create? This is amount plus 1, and this. So should it be the amount? Yes, I think it would be. If I'm creating array of this amount plus 1 index less, means the last row is length of points, and last column means amount. This should give the value, final value. Okay, so just tell me if the syntax is correct. Let me see, check here. On true if condition, else on false. Okay, I think that condition is syntax is fine. Okay, now let us say and execute and see what we get solution for this. Okay, let us run code. If there are any compilation errors, we'll sort it out. Okay, what it is saying, okay, for j in range. What it says, invalid syntax, where it is saying invalid syntax, dp of I plus if greater than. Okay, I think what did I miss? Is it a colon there? If condition. What is wrong in syntax? Return true if condition. Okay, I think we wrote it in a wrong way. On true. I think that's just I need to move it. The what? Oof. Where is that code? So this will be written. This is on true. If false, else 0. Let's see. What else it is saying? Unsupported. What's wrong? Where did we go wrong? Unsupported operand types for plus. Okay. This occurs because of why it is giving me, where did we go wrong? Else I think what is it is dp of dp of I should be done in this way. Am I right? Okay. I to j minus 1. Okay, fine. Yeah, I think meet Harya has some answer. Like we can remove if condition because if j okay will iterate list in reverse order, which will automatically return 0 since we initially. Yeah, see there are always yeah, I agree to this. I think there is one optimization. If we can sort the array in reverse order, it would even reduce further comparisons. So this was something a syntactic error. So it is j of this happens when you code too much in Java, .NET, C, Python, everything at every times. Okay, so test cases execute. Let me click on submit and see if it clears all the 28 test cases. Yesterday we had okay. Yeah, so if you now look at this, it took, I think, is it better than yesterday's or worse than yesterday? It did pass all the test cases. Is it better than or worse? What was that? Yesterday's solution was faster or today's solution? I don't recall yesterday's solution. Let us see if I can.
I think I don't see yesterday's submission. Where is yesterday's submission? Okay. I think we just overrid the code. So it is. Okay. But you can see that we have cleared all the test cases. It is indication that it runs under the defined complexities. Now there are a lot of optimizations, as I said. You can reduce further comparison somewhere here, or I think if you can sort, let us suppose, if I sort these coins, whatever the coin list I have, if I keep this coin list sorted in reverse order, then I think unnecessary comparisons would be avoided, right? Do you agree with that? So how do I sort it in reverse order? If I keep this list of coins in a sorted order, O of n log n, if I consider the best sorting algorithm as O of n log n, I think what is that? This coins dot sorted reverse is equal to, correct my syntax if I am wrong. Is it sort or sorted? I don't understand. What is this? Sort or sorted? Sorted is one. One does the sorting in place and one does sorting. What it is? Can sorted? Okay. It is should be sorted. Sorted does in place, I guess, or it presents a new copy. Now let us see if I sort this, it's generally a place. I think we okay, still it is. But I think, see, there are a lot of optimization you can reduce. I think somewhere we can reduce unnecessary comparisons or unnecessary this condition checkings also. Okay. But see, the code here was to show what exactly the tabulation approach is, what exactly we wanted and how we wanted to get this executed. Okay. So I think this is it for today's session, but let me know which logic was easier to understand, the recursive logic or this tabulation logic. Okay, forget about easier. Tell me, have you understood this? Have you understood the approach and the logic which we have used to solve this? If you understood, just raise your hand. Raise your hand, that it just indicates your response. I think you did not type. Okay. Okay. So now tell me, what was easier, the recursive approach or this tabulation approach in terms of understanding? Which was easier to understand? For recursive, type R. For tabulation, type T. Okay, R, T, R, R, T, R. Okay. I am getting a mix of responses. Okay. Okay. Code wise, I think, yes, I think logic, if it is fine, I think code wise, you will also understand that. Okay. So now, as you see, based on responses, you can see that. So on day one, I think someone asked me a question, when to use bottom up and when to use top down. What I said is, it's purely developer's opinion. Some students are good at visualizing recursion. Yes. Some students are good at visualizing tabulation approach. So people feel comfortable with recursive approach. Yes, they can always go with recursive approach. And if they are using Python, they get an advantage of using that runtime environment and just say at cache, it will just click this and it will go into a good solution. But there are some editors which doesn't support that function. In that case, you have to manually do a memoization.
If you want to do a manual memorization, go through the knapsack programming program which I wrote. I'll share that link in description, the knapsack series. There you will understand what kind of data structure we have used to implement memorization for knapsack. Okay, so I hope you understood. So if you ask me that, I am little bit I always find, so my personal preference is I hate recursion. It is my opinion. I'm not saying every student should do that, as every student has their own position. So I personally hate recursion. I don't know why. I've never found a reason why I hate, but I just hate. That's something personal opinion. It's a developer's opinion whether to use top down or bottom up. Okay, so have you understood what exactly is dynamic programming? How do we sort? What do we sort? How do we do this? See, now I'll tell you how to approach or how to further practice these problems on your own. If you recall, I have shared all the patterns and some of the problems with you. Now go through all those patterns. I'm not asking you to solve them, but go through the solutions. I think somewhere other way you will get the solutions. If you go through, some have logged solutions and some have solutions in the discussions and forums, you will get a solution if you search for that problem. My initial advice is, for let us suppose if I have 7 problems in decision making. Let me see if I can open that dynamic programming page. Okay, so how would you go further from here? So if you look here, I think this is decision making, right? So on this decision making, you can see we did addition. Some problems might require max, some problem might require you to use minimum, some problem might either minimum, max, addition, or product in max cases. So this is house robber problem, and for house robber it is just a max of this. Best time to buy and sell stock, time to cool down. I think there are a lot of other problems, and this coin change problem. So what my advice is, go through these problems, go through each of this problem, and see how you can better understand how they have converted this logic into tabulation approach or recursive approach. You will get that. So go to this problem solution section, and you will get the problem at you will be able to go through this problem. Okay, and then I think you can practice. See, even if you first understand the code and understand that, look at the solution. I'm not saying that you have to sit and write your solution, don't copy paste in that. Go through solution, understand the logic, and then try to implement without even going through the details. Try to implement on your own. Understand the solution, try to implement that. You might encounter a C++ solution, you might encounter Java solution, you might encounter some different language. Try to convert that into your own language. Practice this according to these problems. You will definitely find improvement in your dynamic programming ability. Go through all these problems. You will definitely find betterment in your approach. Okay. Okay, so hope you found this 3-day session useful. How many of you find it useful, and you felt that you learned something new which was not there in you? Just raise your hand if you really felt this 3-day session was useful. Okay, so now if you want further such sessions, if you want me to solve another problem or multiple problem, or if you want to this, give appropriate feedback to placement coordinator. If you feel that you want more lectures, give a feedback to placement coordinator, and accordingly, based on that request, I can make availability for some time and we can go further with this. Okay, there are a lot of such topics. I think data structure is one topic which I'm personally very interested to engage, like how to use hash map, how quickly you can convert that. I think greedy is something still remaining. This is a very long session. I think we cannot complete it in just 3 days. I think if we can have a detailed training program, say 10-day program, 15-day program, it would be very better to cover all these tips from one to end. Anyhow, I have recorded all these 3 sessions, even today's, the day 1, day 2, and day 3. So I'll be putting it on YouTube. I'll share the link. Whenever you're comfortable, you can go through this at later stages. Okay, and once again, I'm telling that if you think that placement season is gone, it is there, I will not practice. If you practice it, I am assuring you at this juncture, remember, this will be very useful to you. The day when you will crack some product development company's interview based on practice which you're doing, you will really thank yourself first. It's very important. Okay. So I think this being a Sunday, I will not engage further more time. If any questions or anything, you can discuss later on. You can either discuss me on Telegram or WhatsApp. I'm more reachable on text more rather than call. So it's up to you how we can take it further. Okay. So thanks for engaging this session on holiday. Yeah, that's it.